Listen to Career Paths by Implement every Thursday.
You might learn something.
You might not.
Available on Apple Podcasts,
On Spreaker,
Spotify,
on Google,
and iHeartRadio. It's your life. Make it happen. Yeah. So you're the hookup guy?
I am the everything guy. I'm
Okay.
the owner, so yeah.
Okay. Well, if my mom needs something, she was talking about getting rid of the wood stove and putting a gas one in the family room.
Yeah,
So
she should. She never uses the wood
no,
one.
she's not going to either.
No,
So
Insert.
it's no, it's a
it's a freestanding.
Oh,
wood.
freestanding. Gotcha.
Yeah.
And she just wanted to, yeah. So
At a certain age, yeah.
Well,
Wood
she's
fireplace has got to go.
well, she's 70. Dad passed away almost 3 years ago. Fuck, can you believe that?
No.
And she's 70.
Something.
77. Yeah. I mean, she's in good health overall, but yeah, she doesn't need that shit. Are we good to go?
Yeah.
Did you ever get light bulbs?
No, I forgot.
You dumbass.
I need to put it on my list, but see, I can't do my list when my phone's there because
Okay, don't worry.
That's the only
Now
time
I
I
know how it
remember.
works. Don't worry, I'll be texting you over and over. And since you got the right color.
yeah. You like that color? Sure, look good with nothing.
Doesn't match any of it.
It's
Did you
green.
see it?
It's a green.
Yeah, I saw it.
Well, ordered it from Walmart. Do you actually expect to get the right stuff?
I don't know.
Wife,
those
she
are only
does the-
40 or 50 bucks though, right?
What's that?
Those are only 40 or 50 or
Yeah.
Yeah.
The wife does the, order online and you go and pick up the groceries. And every time she orders her creamer, which is coconut milk creamer,
Never
because
get it.
she's lactose intolerant.
Her too?
And yeah, and she's to the point now when they unload the groceries into the car, she goes back and she pulls it out and says, okay, now go get me the right one. Because, it was like 5 times in a row she would get home and go, they gave me the wrong one. So she started handing it back to them.
Right.
Go get me the right one.
Yeah.
It's like, it's not that hard,
Believe in
people.
her. Yeah.
Well, apparently for some people.
Yeah.
They're special.
Common sense again. Not so common.
Yeah.
Oh, let's see if we can turn that off.
Jason, you want to turn that off?
Yeah,
important?
1 second. I apologize.
Yeah, no worries.
Hey, bud, I'm getting an interview here. You need me? Yeah, lock up the front and back door, please, and just make sure it's locked up. Thank you.
One of the crew.
Turn it down. Yeah.
That boss thing.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to be asking you questions about being a boss too. And what would you recommend kids to do besides show up, do their job?
Yeah.
Not complain if you call him a boy. Oh.
I know. That's the part. You have to be careful with what you say.
Punk ass bitch.
Problem is I'm a wrestling coach myself, and I don't have a lot of.
Where at?
Not Spokane. So.
How long you been doing that?
11 years now. This would have been my link. I think I'm in about a season. And I'm also the head coach for Mountainside Middle School.
You ever heard of Joe Clark?
Oh yeah, Joe Clark's actually a buddy of mine.
No.
He don't live here now, but
I know. Joe was here. Okay, I get to do this real fast. Okay.
That's fun. Yeah,
It's a small world.
Me and Joe Clark have wrestling history. We wrestled in high school.
Okay.
He beat me. I beat him. And
Joey made me a better man. And once I show you why, you'll go, oh, I get it.
my buddy stole his face mask that he broke his nose during one of the matches, and he stole it back in locker room or something in high school.
This isn't Joey yet. Hold on. I just run across that one. That's a good one. We'll pull that one. But you see Joe anywhere in there? You know Joe doing that stuff?
Yeah, I can see him doing that, obviously, but
That's Joey down there.
the bottom.
He's in the Joker mask.
That's funny.
That's Joker. That's Joe and I.
Nice.
Friends Spokane Shock and stuff. Goddamn. Where did I put that?
Yep.
We'll have to take a picture
He's
before
over
you leave.
Absolutely.
Yeah, he's back.
He's back?
No, he came back.
I was like, wait a minute.
He might be back in April.
Okay.
for a shot game
He
because
was over at the
Yeah.
rental place there before he left, and then his brother came through. Good wrestler like he was. His dad was always a crazy guy.
there's smaller. All right,
Well spoken.
are we ready, Mr. King?
We were, but that was like 5 minutes ago.
10 minutes ago. Fucking jerk.
All right, I'm ready.
On.
You're on.
Welcome to Career Paths by Infonet. I'm your host, Victor Boudreau. Today, our guest is Jason
Conley.
I wanted to make sure. I just met Jason like minutes ago before we came down. Jason, what do you do for a living? What's your career?
HVAC. Heating, ventilation, air conditioning.
Okay. One more time. HVAC, which is
Heating, ventilation, and air conditioning.
okay. And how long you been doing it?
I got in the trade back in 1996. So
Wow, a couple of years.
yeah.
So
few
you
years.
you just got into it a couple of years ago.
Yeah, something like that.
Give us a little bit background about yourself. Married, age, rank, serial number, kids, married, divorced, whatever.
Credit card number 2?
Whatever you got. Whatever.
Just kidding. I have happily married for 11 years now.
And her name is?
Her name is Crystal.
Crystal put up with you for 11 years?
Yeah.
Longer than that,
reluctantly,
obviously.
but yes.
Wow. Crystal, good job for you.
We got a mixed blended family of 7 kids.
Wow.
Yes, absolutely. God bless us with one at the very end and all the rest before that. So, but we wonder if we made the right decisions. Just kidding. No,
See, I don't have kids. I point that on the show all the time. Ryan, my co-partner on this, has 30 kids now,
Right in there, yeah.
something like that. So people that do the blended thing, I tried to be a stepdad, didn't work because I realized I got no respect, but after the fact and blah blah blah. So you were were you married before?
I was
Okay.
twice married before, and
So this is your third?
this is my 3rd marriage.
Wow, you and Ryan have a lot in common.
Yep. So we, I'm pretty big in my faith, so I went ahead and finally gave it up to him and said, this last one that I would, here you go, God. I need to try something different and give it to you, and
Okay.
here I am. Blessed later on.
How old's the oldest?
Oldest is 26.
Okay.
Yeah, 26. Maybe 27, something like that.
Something like that. You lose.
See,
The young,
right in there.
Yeah,
Somewhere
right
in there.
the youngest one is
10.
okay. Wow.
Yeah, so we got a
Okay. Wow.
big age gap.
Yeah, but that's all right. Family is family.
Yep.
Anything else we should know about you besides strong in faith?
Strong in faith. I went ahead and had to go through a couple lumps along the way, so business wise.
We all do.
Yep.
No matter what.
It's a
And
learning
that's-
curve, and
That's one reason we're doing the show is because
Yeah.
sometimes people see the outside.
Yeah.
And they
Gotta
go,
know.
oh, because I
must be nice.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I've been accused
always.
of, even my brother that I'm very close with, I've told you the story, right? That no matter what happens to me, I land on my feet.
Absolutely.
Option or what, though?
Yeah.
I've divorces,
Yep. I've had
bankruptcy.
bankruptcy myself as well, and there again, it was once I said, "Okay, God, here you go. This is your business, and I'll just follow direction and lead where you follow, make me follow."
Right.
And it went uphill from there. It was pretty amazing how it worked.
So you did that before you got married?
No, I went ahead and did that after. So
You and your wife
been a
did.
follower of Christ all my life, but I didn't submit to the 2 things I should have, which is finances and relationship.
Okay.
So
Okay. So HVAC, how'd you get into that? And why did you get into that? Because obviously,
Fine.
I know a little bit about it.
Yep.
It's not easy work.
no, but it's easier than roofing. So therefore,
Is
all
this,
through high school.
Is this the Jason you do roofing with?
No.
No.
Okay.
But all through high school, I had roofed, and I ended up coming right out of high school. I was a wrestling coach right out of high school for Shadow Park and went to North Central. And anyways, I ended up running my own crew right out of the get-go of graduating high school.
Roofing crew.
Roofing crew.
Okay,
Yep.
thank you.
And then went ahead and moved over to Seattle shortly after that
Oh, wow.
in '96, and realized that there was no way I was going to be roofing over in Seattle with that drizzly
Yeah, oh,
rain
wow.
moss
Yeah.
roofs all the time. And I answered a newspaper ad back then that said, "Come try out a new career, we'll train."
And that was in Seattle?
That was in Seattle.
Okay.
So I jumped on that, and here I am this many years later, and still in the HVAC business.
So, okay, so you wanted to get out of what you were doing, look for something new.
Yeah.
That happens a lot with, I mean, I'm still looking to find out what I'm going to do when I grow up.
Aren't we all?
And how old are you again?
I am 45.
Okay, so you're a little behind me, but, and you're still looking at what you're going to do when you grow up?
I'm still trying to figure that out.
Yeah, there's a story with that one. I won't bore
I
you.
got a storage facility I'm working on building 2 right now, so that's my...
At my mom's.
Good idea.
Jim, my brother's an architect.
retirement plan.
Well, so so, and like everybody has too much crap these days.
Absolutely. Me including.
Me too. I've stored.
That's where the idea came from.
Yeah.
See, I got a quick story on that. When I went to Florida, I had bought the moving truck to go down there. Well, can't park it in the driveway because HOAs down there
That's
don't
right.
allow commercial trucks anywhere. So I had to rent a place to park it. I got talking to the guy that owned the business, and I'm like, so how'd you get into this? He goes, well, right out of high school, I bought my first house and then turned it into a rental. Started seeing all the money coming in, and he's like, man, I could double my money if I bought a duplex.
That's right.
He goes, so I bought a duplex. After that, he goes, why didn't I buy an apartment building? So he did. Well, after a while there, he's like, this is a real headache. He goes, so I bought storage unit place. He goes, I thought I was living the dream there. He goes, I don't have to worry about water, don't have to worry about, all the damage and stuff, don't even have to
Overhead.
supply power if I don't want.
Yep.
All of that. He goes, and then it dawned on me. The real money is in outside parking. I don't even have to put up a building.
Correct.
He goes, people pay me to park in my grass. And I'm like, well, yeah, that's me. I'm paying you $70 a month to park my truck in your yard,
Yes,
basically. And
absolutely.
he's like, yeah, I put up a fence and we're good to go.
Yep.
Wow.
I'm like,
Makes sense, don't it?
yeah,
I mean, to me, it's common sense.
exactly.
Storage up there between Mom and the freeway.
Yeah.
Storage, trucks, boats, RVs.
Oh, yeah.
That's
We don't have to do it. We could just do a strip of storage units, but then do the outside storage. Oh, okay.
Not much headache.
No,
Yeah.
I
No.
like.
Mom and Dad
Easy.
actually had talked about doing that. They were going to buy the property in front of them, put it right there on that road there
Right.
with, like an apartment upstairs, sell the other property and live there and have storage. Everyone's like, you'll never get any people out here. All the other ones that are out there are
Build it,
completely
not come.
packed.
Yeah.
That's my motto. Build it and they'll come.
Yeah.
So I'm going to do it too.
Baseball references now. Movie baseball references. So you were in Seattle. How long did you work for a different company?
Yeah, I started off over there.
I'm sorry.
right
Let's
at
get
the
back.
get-go.
This is how it works, though.
Right, absolutely. I started off out there. I spent 6 months. It was a really different game back then. It was one of those things that they were looking for bodies. So therefore, they said, I shadowed some guy for a week, and then the second week, he shadowed me. And the third week, they said, here's your van, your tools, and
Go.
Here's your piece of paper. It shows you a map to go put this system inside a house.
Wow.
And if you make it or break it, and you either had that mindset, and
Right.
or you didn't.
Right. And that was, they didn't waste a lot of time.
No,
or
they
money.
didn't waste any time and their money. They were all about either you make it or you don't.
Right.
So it was really good, and we started off with of course it was like $5.25 or whatever an hour, back then. And,
Yeah.
so they offered up the piece. Well, when you get piece work, now you can earn more money if you work faster. So I was picked it up really fast, and I was out till 2-3 in the morning, working a lot of hours to make that money.
Oh yeah.
So
wow.
I went from there about 6 months, and I realized that I'm just not a big guy, big on a numbers guy. So it was too many people, 23 guys in the company, and you're just a number. So I answered an ad, and actually it was weird, but I answered an ad of being
How long?
a
How
lead.
long within that period?
6 months.
Okay.
I answered an ad, and another ad that was a small 2-man company, and I was going to be the lead all of a sudden, and running my own crew, kind of.
Mm-hmm.
Well, as it worked out, 8 years later, I decided to go ahead and leave there and open my own business. So
Did you come? come back to Spokane?
No, I started off over in Seattle, and as my first bankruptcy, I had two actually. My
Okay,
first
so you were
bankruptcy-
doing your own business in Seattle.
Yeah.
Okay.
You're get locked in over there trying to keep with the Joneses, and
Oh, you're one of them.
Oh man! So your advertisement was $2,300 a month and 5 phone books. Just trying to be able to bring in the work and build a name for yourself.
Okay.
Well, it does great until all of a sudden the economy shifts and
Like
phone
you
quits
were that-
ringing, and
shifts.
you got a $2,300 house payment and a $2,300 phone book payment, and all of a sudden that phone's not ringing. So
Okay.
I tell everybody it was it's comical for me, but I was able to finally go ahead and cut the webs between my toes and come back home. So God just blessed me with a bankruptcy to send me back home.
Yeah,
That's all it was. I mean,
it's
so
not always a bad thing.
no, it really is.
Life is a learning process.
It's a learning process, and I'm big into my wrestling, and that's actually what led me into open my own business. I have to say that because I'm big into putting God back into schools. So for me, being able to have a business to be able to coach and afford to live, I had to be able to work out that way. So when I went ahead and came back, I was able to get back into my coaching and open up my business at the same time.
Awesome.
To have the time and afford to
Does your
coach.
wife work?
She does actually. When I first met her, she was working as a human resource assistant at a Post Falls, with a good, nice job. And I talked her into. Well, we got pregnant, and I talked her into using her degree to come run my business and do the office stuff, which I sucked at.
Well, no, that's
it was
that's
a great-
typical though. That's
Right.
very typical.
She's way smarter than I am. So I mean,
And yet she married you,
and here she married
Crystal?
me. Well, I tricked her into it. Yeah,
Crystal.
I tricked her.
Crystal, I hope you're listening to this or watching
So-
this.
No, I had to trick her into it, but she was smarter. I needed someone to be able to, it worked out really well.
She felt
and,
sorry for you, obviously.
Right. Yes, absolutely. So, yep. No, she's actually what really kind of turned the business around and got it back on its feet. And so she still today runs the office side of it, and
Oh, nice.
I run the outside and my guys, and it's a really good mesh, and
It works.
kind of works really well together.
You guys aren't always together either.
No, we're actually we hardly actually talk much. Other than I talk to her assistant at the office who does all the scheduling with my guys, and Hvac Communications. She runs all of the paperwork on the office side of it and runs her office. And I get home late at night, and then we'll have a family dinner every night, which we're big on. And then
You guys sit around the table?
we do, absolutely.
Awesome.
We sit on the table, and we have to make sure everybody's around there first to say our grace before we have our dinner, and
Sure.
try and keep the old school ways at least somewhat there. So.
Wow. So, was there anybody when you started doing this with the other companies trained you? Anybody that inspired you or that mentored you, kind of, or was it just here you go, here's your basics, and go? I mean, that's what it sounds like it was.
When I was young, it was very money driven, and I've always been my wrestling career prior to this in high school. Whatever, I was very driven by success. So therefore, I do the best I could to be able to try and climb that ladder.
So let's back up. So in high school, you were a wrestler.
Correct. Yeah, I wrestled for North Central High School.
North Central, NC.
Yep.
Any other sports?
I did not. I played football when I was a freshman, but other than that, I was a freshman and sophomore really, and then I realized that I was obviously way too small. I mean, I was
Wrestling, what's your thing?
Yeah, I'm $108 and 5'5" at most. So was not really.
So out of high school,
Out of high school, I went ahead and I just went right into the workforce. I had the opportunity to go to college and take on some scholarship offers from the wrestling. I chose to go into the military instead. They determined I had asthma 2 weeks into the boot camp.
I've asked.
So,
I never. My father was retired Air Force. I have never had a desire, but
Yeah,
me and asthma
I
still.
wanted to go, fight the country and do the right thing as a patriot, but didn't work out that way. Got another plan, and it was quite ironic. They kicked me out of the military for asthma, and while I was in there, Moses Lake still had a wrestling program back then, and they were trying to recruit me. Unfortunately, I was a dumb jock. So, when I graduated with a 1.7, I think half that was given to me because I was a good wrestler, so they just pushed me through.
Right.
Hurt me later on when it came back to the taking on the wrestling scholarship. But I took on a wrestling scholarship. right from the military and came out of the military in August of '94 and jumped right into a wrestling scholarship over at Big Bend Community College when they had a wrestling program there, and realized that it was still just like high school where you had to do like schoolwork and this kind of crazy bookwork stuff, and it wasn't for me. So I lasted a month and went right back into the school hard knocks and went roofing.
So did you go from Moses Lake over to Seattle?
No, I went from Moses Lake back to Spokane. Got back into my roofing. It was an easy fallback.
Right. It was something you knew, and
something I knew, and I did it for the last few years. Outside of working, wrestling, and somewhat school.
right.
And then I went ahead and jumped into the spring of '96. I guess technically it would have been '96, the spring of that. I went over to Seattle and got into the HVAC career.
I cannot remember numbers like that, years and stuff. You did very well.
Graduation made it easy. It helped me on that one. '94 or so.
Boy, it's pretty. Your story is pretty cut and dry, even though it's not cut and dry. Does that make sense what I'm saying to you?
Absolutely. You ask more of like anybody helped push me in that direction. Like I said, being money driven was a big one. Jumping into and trying to be able to succeed.
Mom and dad?
Yeah, mom and dad, big part of the life, but we grew up very, very poor. Very blessed, but very poor. So
money isn't everything.
No, not at all.
Did you eat every day?
No, we absolutely. We had a phenomenal life of hot dogs and macaroni and cheese, but we camped a lot of weekends, and we had a beat up old '77 pickup truck that got us there. Yeah. We didn't have anything to play with, but we had family.
You have brothers, sisters?
Absolutely. Yeah, we got a number of them. Yeah.
You guys get together? Are you close with your brothers?
We all kind of grown away from each other a little bit, different areas.
Sure.
But I'm still pretty close with some, not all.
Yeah,
that's how it works.
Yeah, well, it happens. It's not a bad thing, but it kind of is. That one reason you think inspired you to become the family man that you are today?
I love it. Yes, I was able to go ahead and take. We grew up in a family where my dad was a recovering alcohol and drug addict. And at 7th grade, when I moved in with him, was kind of the stipulation to quit, and he'd be able to have us kids for the year.
Okay.
And it's probably one of those things that the biggest impact on my life, and it made me who I become because of the fact that I was able to realize that I wanted no part of the drugs and alcohol. Right. And I went to a lot of the meetings, NA meetings with my dad.
Wow.
Through 7th grade, and it made it very easy to say no later on.
Right.
And I really wish that the school systems would actually implement some kind of a plan where you can put kids into some kind of a semester or even a quarter of going to these meetings to be able to see and hear the stories of what these drug addicts go through. Right. And now they're coming back off these drugs, and it really it was a whole game changer. It really was.
Sure. So, what obstacles besides life in general that I have generic questions here, so I try to adjust accordingly. But everything's been an obstacle, kind of, isn't it?
It absolutely has. And my first, I will say, is one of the biggest impacts. And I tell my wrestlers, because I coach wrestling now.
Okay, so let's interrupt. How long have you been coaching?
I have been coaching. My first coaching position was in '95 at Shadow Park. They brought me right over the next season to come coach as a freshman coach. And then I was out for a while and ended up going back around 2000, 2001, somewhere in there. Coached my little brother, came up the ranks behind me, and got back in the game for a little bit. And then ended up over here back in Spokane. And I think this is my 11th season over at Mount Spokane High School. And then the 3rd season as a head coach at Mountainside Middle School. Wow. So yeah, a number of years. So
you affect kids.
Yeah, like I said, I'm very faith-based, and my entire, whether people believe in the Lord or not, that's not it's kind of irrelevant, I guess. I'm more about the idea of putting him back into schools, but with the idea, principles of morals, values, and that respect factor.
That's crazy.
Young man
that's crazy talk,
isn't it?
Morals and values,
right? It's weird
what
nowadays.
The heck are you? You're gonna offend somebody.
I absolutely will. I absolutely will offend somebody. I do that a lot.
We talked before the show, and he had to put an ad to do with his company on, put it on social media.
Yep.
And you apparently didn't word it
I
correctly.
didn't
You already
word it
got
correctly.
attacked because
I'm
you
just-
offended. Did
Yeah.
they say that you offended them?
Just the wording of not making sure you're politically correct by using
It's
male,
like-
female type terms, and that I'm just not used to that. I'm a little old school.
Yeah.
And,
Oh yeah.
you know, I'm very big on respect for women, and I lead my own daughters to the direction that I feel that they should be going, which is not into the manual forced labor. Their bodies, the guy just didn't make us the same.
Yeah,
To me, it's
yeah,
simple.
yeah.
So I step on toes a lot, and I don't.
That's your
apologize
belief.
for it. Absolutely.
The funny thing is I seem to share lately is you are you can have your opinion, and that's fine, but you can't tell me what my opinion is.
Exactly.
And it is America still.
It is still America.
It's not the
Believe
one
it or
we
not.
started with,
No, it's not.
and it's changed a lot in the last couple of years.
Without a doubt.
So you're on the job training. You're doing your coaching. Do you find that doing the coaching while you're going through some of this stuff help balance your life out? So you look at this situation over here, and you're coaching your kids and seeing their whole life's ahead of them, and you're just in the middle of some stuff.
What I do is I've really kind of set up my coaching to be able to I try to show the young men and women who come in the wrestling as well, that
Yeah, you can't.
there's
can't
you
leave them
can't
out.
leave it out. I graduated with a 1.7, and
you
I
show
dumb
off.
jock.
Show
Yeah,
off.
I gotta get right. So I gotta be able to, I really want to be able to show, and I teach my middle school program. I'll say, that's my personal program. Half an hour before wrestling practice starts, they have the opportunity, and if there's any homework need to be done, I want every excuse from the parents ever to be told to me that my kids' grades are failing because of wrestling. So, and it's very big to me to make sure these kids understand. So I let them know my world and where I came from, and this is
Right.
So, and the importance of why you have to be able to not just be a dumb
You
jock.
call yourself a dumb jock?
I didn't used to. I do now.
What's the politically correct
right?
term? What do you use? I was the ignorant.
Yeah, the funny
athlete.
part about that is
Ignorant athlete. Is that a better term?
that's actually probably better because I was actually the guy who was in the hall playing hacky sack in my cowboy boots with the stoners and the jocks, and I didn't have a clique. It was just whoever was there. I'm friendly with everybody. I don't care about
we
it.
had a small. Ryan and I went to a small school where everybody knew everybody. It wasn't. I mean, there was cliques, but there wasn't cliques.
I couldn't call myself a jock because I just didn't like the word, and that wasn't who I was.
Right.
I was just a guy who got along with everybody.
Yeah.
So
I get it.
now I say it more of a funny thing than I was a dumb
Right.
jock. I really wasn't. I just didn't apply myself. And that's what I try to tell my wrestlers is, look, you guys have the potential.
Right.
You're just throwing it away.
Right.
Don't do that. Here I am to show you.
Learn from your mistakes.
Yeah.
That's kind of why we're doing the show.
And we're not all geared to go to college. We're
No.
not all geared.
Oh,
I mean, back to my faith, we're not. God didn't design us to walk a straight line. That's just not how He designed us.
No.
We all had different brains and different ways of being able
Mm-hmm.
to be built. So therefore,
Mhm.
we have different career paths.
We all
That's
have to
okay.
learn different. We all have to learn certain
Yep.
things.
So I got a quick question.
Yeah.
To do with the balance between your career and the wrestling and stuff, because you had your bankruptcy and stuff.
Yep.
And then later, you come
I'll
back.
tell you the big change. What changed there was the fact that I literally laid at the feet of God and said, "Here you go. This is yours. It's yours now." I've fought so many things in my life. My third marriage, my bankruptcy, I had to go through twice.
You went through 2 bankruptcies.
Yep, 2 bankruptcies.
Awesome.
So I came back into Spokane. I just started the process more or less when I met my wife. And 2008 through 2010, just couldn't hang on any longer. But the difference for me was I fought it, and I thought I could just, being a tough guy, make it on my own and figure it out. Well, when I finally said, "Okay, God, here you go. This is yours," I gave it to you in the first place to be able to open up my business, to be able to allow me to coach, to put God back into schools. But I left out the 2 key ingredients, which was my relationships and my finances. As soon as I did that, it skyrocketed. It went from 2 guys to now we have, I think there's 11 or 12 in the company.
Wow.
So did your mind ever play the tricks on you? It's like, how can I be mentoring these kids when I'm struggling with business and things like that?
It didn't. Once I laid it at his feet and said, okay, I'm done. I trusted him to give me the business to provide for me as I was able to leave any job site at 2 o'clock to be at school practice by 2:30. When I finally went ahead and completely surrendered it, everything changed. It just made it to where the phones just took care of themselves. They rang when they needed to. The office took care of. I don't even make my own scheduling now. I have my office takes care of their own scheduling, and they block out times that I say to block out. Otherwise, they schedule me to go do my bids. And we just went ahead for the first time ever put up a billboard over by Chick-fil-A for our heating business.
Wow.
This just went up here at the beginning of January. Up until then, we don't have any advertisement. We're a completely 100% word of mouth company virtually. And we did that because we had a bunch of co-op dollars to be able to spend from buying equipment that they gave us money towards advertisements. So for what the heck, we'll go ahead and throw it up there just because. Don't need to. We're already blocked out always 4 to 6 weeks.
Wow.
So to answer your question, no. Now it made it super easy to be able to still go ahead and do my coaching all these years because of the fact that it just worked out. I mean, so those who are even non-believers, that's fine. They just, for me, it was literally when I said I surrender. Here you go. It's bigger than me. It just worked out. So,
what's a typical day consist of for you now? All these years doing the coaching, you own the company.
Correct.
What's your day start?
It's quite funny. I set my alarm at 7:30.
That's not bad.
And I have a shop out of my house. I bought the house with the idea of having the shop big enough to be able to have parking space for the guys. The guys meet up at 8 o'clock, so I'm able to go ahead and shower, do all my stuff, and walk out the door at 5 minutes to 8 before they get there. And makes it look like I'm, first one out. Because I live there. Kind of cheating, but, it works.
No, I have somebody else I know that does that.
So it used to be years of long nights trying to struggle and stress over, bids and that kind of stuff. It really has become smoother as the right crews have come around the business and everybody's got their job to do and line them out.
Isn't it partly because you're learning yourself how to do things?
It without a doubt is. You learn more over the years and you become less stubborn you become and more willing to look around and listen to other people who you've been able to gather information from and I guess I have to say it again, to put back into his feet. It just works for me. And
right.
Things have just letting go of some of your tasks and roles that you fought so hard to keep. I used to have a phone that was my ear and it was there 24/7, and I had to be the one to take the phone calls or it was lose the job. Now you can't even call me. You have to be able to text me to get a hold of me. Otherwise, the phone will just ring through me and right to the office. They take care of my scheduling, so I don't worry about it.
Right.
So it's a real.
But
awesome.
You built it up to
I
that
built
point.
it up to that point without a doubt. A lot of struggles in the beginning.
That's just learning what works for you.
Yep.
And just because it works for you doesn't mean it's going to work for somebody else in the same position, doing the same stuff. And I'm not knocking. It's just learning yourself is part of the situation. Because for myself, doing everything, I never thought I'd be in this position where I'm hosting, interviewing people.
Right.
But I realized I'm an entertainer. As I showed you something, a mutual friend of ours.
Right.
We came together because we're both hams. But I've been a musician, entertainer on stage since I was 18. I started performing in my first road bands when I was 19. So I've been on stage, but that comfortable at this point doing this, that's one reason Ryan came to me to do this, is because I can talk to anybody about anything.
Right.
As you can see, yeah.
Which is awesome. I go ahead and touch on that. Give a shout out to Joe there, Clark, because
Joey, I love you.
Joe Clark, gotta love the guy. He's awesome.
Yes, he is.
And
it makes me a better man.
We wrestled back in high school. It's a small Spokane, small world.
Yeah,
so
obviously.
It's quite funny to see we have the same, friends like that.
Yeah. Joey makes me a better man because of his charity work. The stuff that we did, going to Shriners as our characters, he makes...
No, he's a good man.
Yes.
So without a doubt.
We'll be taking a photo here shortly to send to
it.
Joe ASAP. So you get up in the morning, get your crew's going.
Get my crew going.
What are your tasks now? Since you don't have to do anything.
Well, typically,
goof off all day.
Well, no, I wish I did. No, I do. Ride snowmobile often. I can't lie. I make sure it's. My motto is very big on work hard, play hard.
Yeah, you gotta enjoy
You gotta
life.
be able to enjoy life, and if you can't, you're not gonna last years down the road
Right,
doing the
right.
same thing.
Right.
You're always just jumping from job to job trying to find that that void,
Mhm.
but you got to be able to enjoy it. No, I in the morning typically I'll get out of the shower and I'll call the office, and my secretary gets there before I do. So it starts 7:30, and we'll kind of talk about things that come over the night, the voice messages, and
Something like
walk out the door talking on the phone with her, let her go to be able to get my guys lined out, and
she lines the guys
answer
out now,
questions.
or you
What's
do?
that?
She does, or you do?
So she lines all the scheduling out. We kind of co-host that one right there.
Okay.
With my direction. She puts down whatever she's how much time she needs to put on their schedule for the most part.
Sure.
Most times she can do it by herself, but I still
Sometimes clarify.
I clarify what's
Yeah.
what's needed and how much time on certain ones.
Because you're the guy that's been in the field.
Yeah, correct.
Even though she
Yep.
has an idea how it works, but sometimes
Shout out!
your knowledge.
She's amazing. She's got more years in the trade than I do.
Wow.
She's like 35 years in the trade.
Oh,
so
she puts up with you
she's-
too,
yeah,
huh?
Yeah, she puts up with me.
Wow.
It's pretty awesome.
You want to give her a shout out?
Yeah, Diana Gomes, she's amazing.
There you go.
She's a huge part of our business and make it run the way it does. To be honest. So
Okay. So then you're out on. Are you out on jobs? You're out.
yeah,
on
so I go
bids?
ahead and whatever comes my way on my schedule. So
Right.
she'll go ahead. Like today, we were shorthanded on laborers right now. So I had to go back out in the field and get the job going, lay things out, cut some holes, get them ready for when they did show up. It was easier to lay them out and faster for them to go ahead and work. Then I had to pull off at 1 o'clock, whatever it was, to go jam over to Hayden Lake to go do a bid on another house that we're
You
trying to
do
land.
commercial, residential, both, everything.
We
anything?
do about 95% probably residential
Okay.
and 5% commercial,
And
and
the
it's
name of
more
your
light
company
commercial.
again? Do you want to?
It's Advanced Technology Heating and Cooling.
That sounds important.
Right.
That
Yeah, it sounds really important.
Jason-
Thanks to my mom. She helped me with that name. And when
And
I
it
first
starts
started,
with an A.
exactly. And that was where back then we had the phone book. So to go way back there, when I first went into on my own, I started off with a duct cleaning business.
Mhm.
And it tied together with
Duct.
furnaces, duct. Yeah, like cleaning out your duct systems.
Duct,
People don't
duct
realize
quack.
that minimum every 5 years you should have your ducts cleaned out. No one does it because it's out of sight, out of mind. But your allergies and stuff come from your breathing in all that stuff in your house.
Yeah, I don't have any ducks in my house
Yeah.
nowadays.
So it's quite funny and awesome. My dad was he was a carpet cleaner all of growing up,
Okay.
and so therefore I ran the one for a while and did the carpet cleaning. So I went ahead and jumped into carpet and duct cleaning when I first opened my business, which was a weird business because you do carpet cleaning, you do duct cleaning, and you get in the house to be able to get in there to do furnace change outs. And we also do water heater change outs as well.
Sure.
So it gave me a whole slew of walking in the house being able to do.
Right.
When I got into Spokane, I realized that I could drop the carpet cleaning and didn't need to do that anymore. And duct cleaning still ties together with what we do.
Sure.
So therefore we're able to go ahead and just we have so many aspects for the business. But sorry, going back to what I was going to say on the way back it was Advanced Technology Carpet and Duct Cleaning. So I moved back into Spokane and already went bankrupt. It was easy just to change it from Advanced Technology Carpet and Duct Cleaning to Advanced Technology Heating and Cooling. And back then they had special tools you used for the wands and stuff for your duct cleaning machine that had been new on the market. So it was advanced technology.
Oh,
So that was easy.
Yep.
Now I'm into the HVAC trade with everybody asks, well, what's so advanced? Well, it's a long story, but
There you go. Okay.
we do the top of the top, top of the brands. However, furnace is a furnace is a furnace.
Yeah.
I am a rude dealer. Not gonna lie. They do fund and take care of all of our needs, and we love them. But in the end, you're still producing heat by fire. Most of the time, running gas.
What about your career that you dislike? What about your career that you enjoy? What's the worst and what's the best?
The best is
See,
I'm a
they
people
always
person.
reverse that. I actually specifically wrote this. I write these things a specific way. You notice this, Mr. King? But go ahead. I just want to point out.
the best I'll say is the relationship and building something and making people happy.
Mhm.
I'm definitely a people person, and I love what
Obviously.
I do. Yeah, I love what I do. And so building that relationship, and even when I build a relationship with our supply house, I'm everything about family, so growing up in a family that was tight, even though it was a blended family, everything was about the tight-knit family.
Sure.
So we even stick very strong to our supply house, that matter of fact, Diane is our office manager. Her husband runs our supply house.
Yeah, it's a small world.
Yeah, and her son is my salesman at the supply house.
Oh, that's convenient.
So it's one of, and she just, when she came on, it was already set up that way. So everything's about that family idea. So going into houses where you're doing something for somebody, and it's a good feeling to be able to leave. The worst part I say is over the last probably 5 or 6 years, people have just become angry. I think they haven't been as happy as they once were, and I think it's a lot of it because we've become too entitled. We need it now, as opposed to being able to wait, or can I give you another solution to get you by?
Right.
No, I want it now. The AC season is always the worst for us because
oh yeah, I bet. Yep.
People lose their mind. They'll go 2 weeks without heat in the wintertime, but if they're down for a couple hours without AC, they are mad.
Really?
Oh man, it's crazy. It's really, but I think it's back to that entitlement. So we've.
How would you change that?
I think, to be honest, I'm back to old school, so I'll probably offend a lot of people that way. I think it starts in the home, and we have to be able to, not coddle. And that's what I love about wrestling is you're not there to be coddled. We're not there to coddle you.
Really?
You're there to, to have discipline and to
learn.
Respect is not an option. It's demanded.
Right.
And so when we
Respect
lose those values, that's where it's lost.
Yeah.
I think
the culture that we have nowadays.
Reclaim that.
Yeah. It'd be nice somehow, and I'm not sure how to do it. What would you say, time in the office or time in the field? Which one do you enjoy the most?
Enjoy, you said?
Yeah.
I actually enjoy the time in the field.
Everybody does.
I avoid the office. I mean, I'll try and go through the.
And again,
sometimes I'll go through the bids on my phone.
Who was that?
That was the kid that was becoming a policeman.
Oh, Jade. Oh, that
Remember, he loved the paperwork
liked
and
the
stuff.
paperwork
He
side.
wanted the office side.
That's part of I think there's different brains. The way we're wired, I think maybe. I enjoy going back into the field when I'm forced to with my guys, and to me that's it's fun. It's enjoyable. I'm able to.
It's not like you have to or you do it every day anymore, but
exactly.
you get to go do it.
It is a young man's game,
but you know what
for the most part.
Yeah.
There's definitely without a doubt 2 different sides of HVAC. There's a install side and there's a service side.
Right.
And there's again 2 different brains. I mean, just the way it works out, and you can work your way into a service position. But it's years of understanding and how the things are put together, as opposed to some guys go to school and they learn, because they have a really good brain. I'll just say it. And they
again, we're all getting different,
right? They're able to go ahead and retain things a lot differently.
Sure.
And that's a big, huge help. But there's 2 aspects. They're totally different when it comes to HVAC, the service and the install side.
Sure.
But it's nice to go back in the field and on both that I can go back in and help out the service guys, and then go back in the next day and go, slam some ductwork up. And I'm not, showing the guys a lot of times that you're not above them, and it's okay to jump in the crawl space.
That
old guy.
That definitely earns respect from your crew.
It's building that and letting them know that even this old guy's not too proud.
What do you think the biggest misconception the general public has for what you do for your career doing HVAC?
I think the biggest misconception is people often look down on the trades as being
anymore.
Yeah, anymore. It's
unless you're you're entitled. Once again, we go back to the entitlement.
And they don't get it. I mean, it's quite funny because it's sad. Really, is being in the school system as long as I have as well for coaching, you're able to see it firsthand that everything is pushed and driven towards the college bound, and it's made to be looked at as if you don't go to college, you don't amount for anything.
Yeah.
And
we find that on the show that that's not the case.
No, it's not, and it's quite sad because you actually go ahead and look at the pay scales and of what the career tradesmen actually make compared to what unfortunately what a teacher does. I'm all about giving raises to teachers. Don't get me wrong, but you'll soon realize that tradesmen is not a bad deal. I mean, you have to start off I think the minimum wage was designed and set for a reason. That you
There-
start off
there-
McDonald's style,
There is
like
a
I
reason.
did at one point, and you move up.
Yeah.
You have to have that,
And
advance.
earn and learn.
Earn and learn. And there's no difference. I mean, like my wife, started off in college and she ended up getting, her bachelor's after she started off, at the beginning. You gotta start somewhere to get somewhere.
Exactly.
And it doesn't change from whether you're in school or not. It's just, to me, you're gonna earn more debt.
And that happens with these
Happens
schooling.
a lot.
We've had a couple on here. My brother was our first guest ever. He was an architect, and I believe he still owes.
Yeah.
He's been doing it for years. He's been out of
Absolutely.
college for years.
We just end up finally paying off my wife's $50,000 in debt.
There-
It's crazy.
Was that for school?
That was for school.
50,000. Wow.
That's insane to
Yeah.
me.
Yeah.
So doing what you're doing now, Jason, your money and income, and we don't need specifics. Do you offer for you guys for yourself? You got benefits, you got health care, vacation, 401, house, any of this work? Being a business owner,
Yeah, we don't have any. We used to have benefits, and we ended up finding out that you have to have a big enough base that wants it,
okay.
and everything comes at a cost.
Oh, sure.
So
exactly.
you have to be able to spread that cost out, and here about 3 years ago, I think 3 or 4 years ago, when we had it. The guys chose to have more on their paycheck
Mhm.
than in their extra benefits.
Right.
So we gave them raises instead of going the benefit style.
Okay.
And that was just something that we offered up, for our guys.
Well, you talk to your crew, and you
Yeah,
ask.
we give them, and you have to have so many people on, like I said, a group pay to be able to make it affordable,
Right.
and make it even worth doing.
And how many people do you have on your completely now? You have crew, and then you have office staff. So
Yep.
How many people?
Right now we're down, but we have two installs, three installs. We have 3 service technicians, 2 in the office, plus myself.
So now doing what you're doing, and you're the boss, and you put everything, and you said, "Take care of it, God." Is your income where you thought it would be, and what are you?
I'm blessed. I'll say that.
That's all.
I'm
I don't need to
blessed.
need.
Yeah,
I don't
no,
need numbers.
I'm blessed.
I don't want
We only take a draw every month, and I think that's part of the problem too. Is when I moved over from Seattle, what changed things for me? I don't have big fancy vans and payments to go with it.
What?
Logoed up. I know, isn't that
How-
crazy? The one thing I took out of that first bankruptcy was if you live within your means, and
What?
I know, right? It's a weird concept nowadays. If you get away from the Joneses,
What?
you
Sorry,
can actually go ahead and make things work out
You're
better
offending
for
me,
you.
by the way, Jason.
I know. I'm
How
sorry.
dare you offend me?
That's how I learned. I figured that if I don't have that advertisement, when I first came over to Spokane, how I built my business is actually quite funny. On Craigslist is where I started my business.
I know several.
I went ahead and advertised. It was free advertising back then. So I figured that I love a good deal. So my philosophy is that I love a good deal, but my mother is more of a high class lady. So she's not going to go find me on Craigslist. However, she's going to find her son on Craigslist, and I'm going to recommend to my mom after I've already approved this company. So that was my philosophy, and I built it up on Craigslist, and that was no advertisement. It's free. So I did that for many, many years, and it just kind of spiderwebbed, from there. And that's literally how I built my business here in Spokane. Was word of mouth off of Craigslist.
So we're gonna go back out of high school. How many jobs do you think you've had between now and then?
Not very many.
Doesn't sound like it.
No. I went to
Did the school,
the
military?
very beginning.
That lasted.
I started off
2
roofing,
weeks?
and I was 14 or something,
Wow.
helping with the roofing crew. My dad's buddy.
Right.
And when he got slow, I ended up going into the McDonald's. Which
Did you actually you worked at McDonald's?
I worked at McDonald's for a few months, and I have to say that that was one of the hardest jobs I've ever had in my life.
Really?
It was a mental stress thing
Oh, I bet.
of
Yeah.
go, hurry now.
Yeah.
And they weren't afraid to tell you, get your butt moving.
Yeah.
So being a young, high school, my parents had a recovery magazine. Shout out to them back when I was growing up there that they put together to help bring others off of drugs and alcohol. And I was also working as a runner for them a little bit in my spare time. So I was literally doing a couple jobs at once, going to school, and then wrestling. I would go on the weekends and go, do roofing tear-offs, and it was fun. It was a good way to be able to build yourself up and make money. But I went ahead and after that, I got into coaching. I worked Pizza Pipeline before I left at nighttime, coaching during the day and working roofing during the beginning of the day.
Right.
And I went over to Seattle, jumped onto like 2 weeks worth of busting tires on a commercial tire company. That was backbreaking.
I bet.
Couldn't wait, to get out of that one. But that job finally popped up for HVAC, and I literally had the one for 6 months, jumped into the one for 8 years, and then here I am, my own business. So,
what advice would you give somebody that wants to get into HVAC or that owns or a younger person, male, female? Give advice as a boss, as a business owner.
Here's the best advice I bring on every now and then some guys out of the HVAC school, HVAC our association. Great place to go do a 9-month course, and they be able to spend the money, come out, learn a lot, and then jump into the trade at a little higher wage. But the first thing I do with one of my best technicians that I have right now, I went through several of them. They have a shoulders back, their heads high, and they just came out of this school. They know everything.
Yep.
They're young and they don't know anything.
Yep.
And so what I realized in this last one was I said, look, here's the deal. You just came out of school, high five, you did good. But I'm gonna give you the out. You don't know anything.
Yep.
And that's okay. And I followed up with exactly like that. I let them know. It's okay. You don't know anything yet. You haven't had any life lessons. You haven't had any experiences out in the field.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to run into 100 different things in the questions that come up there in the field that you just don't know because you haven't seen them.
Right.
And I'm, as your boss, telling you ahead of time, that's okay. So I have a philosophy that I tell my guys that it's very simple. Google, you can find almost anything nowadays.
Yeah.
So you spend 15 minutes of working your brain to try and figure out the problem for the homeowner. Bottom line is they're paying us to do something. So therefore, I want you to spend the next 15 minutes, if you can't figure it out, to go ahead and jump on Google. After that, you're immediately on the tech support to the company that you're working on that equipment.
Okay.
Because they have obviously seen things, over and over again that day or several times throughout the year.
Okay.
So that way you are not wasting their money if you run into something. And it's okay to not know everything. There's
you
1,000 things in one day. You can go and see.
Yeah, I don't know anything.
You don't.
Still.
And if you think that you know, as I tell them, if you think you know it all, you better stop and start back over again because you miss way too much along the way.
That's life.
And that's part of life. And that's what I let these guys know. That's okay.
Right.
I'm not going to even, most of the time they'll call me and I'll ask them questions when they're trying to tell me something that's not working.
Sure.
I'll ask them questions to get their brain moving, but I'm not going to give them the answer right away.
Try to
Because they have to be able to think for themselves.
Right.
They're on an island out there,
right.
And they have to be able to say, okay, where are my tools at? How can I make this work for myself and save the money to the customer? I
worked where I was the guy that was in the field, and I remember calling the guy in the store that I got my product from, that I was installing, getting the answer. And then years later, I was the guy that was in the store. People were calling me, and I had those answers. Like, son of a, when did I get to be the old guy in the store? It's all good though. You live and learn.
I think you retain things, at least for myself and so far the guys I've had, you retain things a lot better when you have to go through obstacles and figure things out.
Learn them yourself.
Then you tend to remember them a lot better. If you just give them the answers all the time, it doesn't solve anything. You don't get to be able to understand what you learned. So,
any other advice?
I think
we talked about this real quick, and this is where I'm going with this.
Advice I'm gonna say is
for somebody looking to work.
Yep.
You're a boss. You hire people.
I'm looking at myself. I love to hire former wrestlers because what goes into the wrestling program.
See, and that's part of your whole philosophy. I can tell by talking to you.
Yeah.
Because you're mentoring the kids and teaching them the way you. Yeah.
It's to me it's a factor of life. It's all part of it. You're gonna put in the dedication, the commitment, the hard work, and you're going to give your heart and the soul into something. And you're going to go through the obstacles of wins, losses, ties, draws, and none of that is going to stop you. And that's what I'm looking for when I tell the guys, look, I want you to, I don't care if you fail. I mean, I ended up, we all, as wrestlers, we fail every time. I mean, we fail all the time. You know, it's having that challenge of, okay, what can I do differently to change the aspect next time?
Yeah, how can I be better?
You know, so you're constantly have to be able to put that in your mindset of, I want to be better. I want to better myself. You know, so that's a total live and learn. You know, total live and learn. So you don't have to have that college education. And again, nothing wrong with college education. My wife's in the office running my office, and she's making my business do well. But there's all different aspects of what we do.
Yeah, it's not for everybody.
Not for everybody. So,
what other career or dream job did you want as a kid? Did you ever want to be a cowboy or an astronaut or what?
Cops, firefighters. I mean, that was going to be one of those things that I was definitely going to be a cop, and my second was going to be a firefighter. I had no intentions of being an HVAC business owner. I didn't even know what it was. I went from roofing on top of roofs, and then now I'm inside the houses going, okay, well,
right below the roof.
2x4s? What's a 2x4? I mean, so
a 2x6.
Yeah, now there's 2x6s too. What?
What the heck? But they're not really 2x6s.
No.
That's what I never understood. And 2x4 really isn't 2x4.
Correct.
I'm always confused.
Used to be.
Yeah, used to be. A lot of things
long gone.
Yeah. Anything else you'd like to add?
No.
I'll let you shout out to Joe again. Joe, thank you.
Yeah, Joe, thank you.
It's a small world.
Well, there again, part of that, Joe and I wrestled back in high school, and you wrestle guys like that won't just roll over and give it to you. You got to fight for everything you get, and that was that entire mentality that I love. I love the wrestling aspect for, and other sports, in general. I was a football coach for Mountainside Middle School too, so just pushing yourself to where you think you're gonna quit, and then continue to push yourself to realize that, wow, I can do more.
Right.
And that right there is where I think a business owner, you have to have that mentality, because you run into so many obstacles out there, and you want to be able to just throw in the towel and quit, but you can't. I mean, you got a family to take care of, and the way I look at it is I have several families to take care of in my own fleet that they're on my shoulders. So taking on that kind of responsibility is a challenge, and you have to be able to look at it as, I will not fail.
Right.
And I was at the very beginning of when I went into my first bankruptcy, it about devastated me. And the guy I was working for, his father was a multimillionaire, and he pulled me aside one day, and he's, Jason, he says, just understand something. I went bankrupt 8 times.
Wow.
He says, this is back in the day where that could happen. He says, I'm not encouraging that by any means, and neither am I. But no matter what, here I am now as a multi-millionaire because I would not quit, and I refused to quit. I had to learn as I went along on each bankruptcy to figure out how to make this better and what I've done wrong. But that's part of life.
Yes.
And that's why, I love the construction field that way. You have that mentality.
Live and learn.
So,
Jason, I appreciate it.
Absolutely. Appreciate the time.
Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. Hopefully we'll be getting these on soon, right? This is Career Paths by Infonet. Please subscribe, leave a comment. It's your life. Make it happen. We'll see you next time. Thanks, sir. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Planning the end of the month.